For my comparative study, I will be comparing two films that fall under the comedy and romance genre. These two films are Clueless, that was released in 1995, and Legally Blonde, that was released in 2001. I have chosen these two films because they are similar to each other because of feminism. In both of these films, the protagonists both come from similar backgrounds, which are wealthy blonde girls who grew up in the well-known cities of California, Beverly Hills, and Los Angeles. So I'll be talking about the feminist film theory and how it's portrayed through these two films. First, I'm going to be talking about the film Clueless. This film is about a high school teenager who is popular and wealthy. It takes place in Beverly Hills, and the film revolves around her. Clueless has certain parts that have to do with the feminist film theory. There are certain stereotypes throughout the film that show what people think living a wealthy lifestyle in California would be like. It shows her as the girl with the perfect life, house, clothes, and image. This shows the unrealistic standards that are shown in the world around us. People like to talk highly of this lifestyle when it isn't one most people have. Another thing this film also shows in this theory is how they show the men. They make it seem like their lives revolve around men and that they're always wanting to be with someone. This is a negative message because it can be showing that they rely on a man instead of being able to be independent. There are also people who don't agree with this because it shows the beauty standards that are talked about everywhere. It shows the girls as beautiful, tall, and skinny, and it also shows attractive men. This can be negative towards other people because it is possible to make them feel insecure. A lot of people's insecurities come from what they see and hear, and from watching a movie that people call The Perfect Life can be hard for some people. They also showcase the girls acting a certain way, which can be described as clueless. Cher is the protagonist of the film, and she is known to be the typical Beverly Hills girl. In the film, it shows that she can basically get anything that she wants without having to work for any of it. Her father is also a lawyer, and Cher has those argumentative traits, and she's learned them. In one specific scene, it shows Cher act in a way that you would expect her to. She's being robbed at gunpoint, and instead of screaming or trying to get help, she's complaining that her new dress would be ruined. It shows a stereotype of girls like her more worried about a dress instead of being robbed. Another scene that is controversial is when a new student came into their school and she just wanted to fit in. And to help Ty fit in, Cher and her friend decided to give her a makeover. Giving her a makeover makes it seem like to fit in, you have to look and act a specific way. This scene gives a negative message to people who might not fit in or think that being different or their own person is bad. Now I will be talking about Legally Blonde. At the beginning of the film, you would see the protagonist as a shallow, wealthy blonde girl who is from Los Angeles. But this film is about a girl named Elle who gets broken up with her boyfriend before he leaves for school, and she's determined to get him back. But he believes that she is a dumb blonde and that he needed somebody smarter to be with him. She's determined to get him back, but he doesn't want her, so she decides to prove him wrong. To prove him wrong, she worked really hard in school and was top of her class and got into Harvard Law, and her goal was to get a Juris Doctor degree at the Harvard Law School. The film shows the stereotype of being a blonde. The stereotype is that they're all dumb, and they decided to prove it wrong, since Elle was not actually dumb. Elle ended up graduating top of her class and proved everyone wrong. Nobody thought that she would be able to do it. So from this stereotype, the director and the film writers really made it better so that people didn't view blondes as the stereotype that they usually do. This film provides a good message towards people that there's no specific stereotype and that none of it's true. It's all just fake. The use of her enjoying fashion and beauty and pink and like carrying a dog around all the time, it's not used to be like, oh, she is from Los Angeles, she is wealthy, she has money. But instead they're just using it as a part of her personality since she is from those places. But throughout the film, it shows her on a chase for a man that doesn't want her because he doesn't think she's smart enough. But then as she's like going through school and like finds out that she's actually smart and like can be in law, she realizes that she is too good for him and that he doesn't deserve her. This scenario is important to showcase in the film because it can help other people realize that they don't need to settle for the first choice because it's not always the best, but sometimes it is. But in this case, it's not, and she actually ends up finding someone who's a lot nicer and smarter and best fits her and like is just better for her. And in the film, they also show Elle meeting a friend, and they both find out together that they're better in a friendship than with a man in a relationship. And the friend is actually her ex-boyfriend's ex-fiance. So they just decided to be friends and that they didn't need him. And also, while she's in law school, it shows that she thinks she isn't good enough for law school because all the people see her as like the basic blonde and that they don't take her seriously. But she was determined to quit, and that's when she was given advice to prove them wrong. And so she decided that it would be the best thing for her to stay and be the best lawyer there is. In this film, they gave a lot of messages that are positive towards people who like maybe think that they're not good enough to do something, or since they're a girl they can't. But from watching this movie, you can see that she's a very girly girl, but she's also inspired to be a lawyer, so that's what she did. So in this film, they really portrayed it well and made sure that everyone knew they can do whatever they want and nothing's impossible. This film portrayed the feminist film theory in a positive way, understanding the gender inequality but showing it as a better thing, and that since she's a girl, she can still be a lawyer and go to law school, even though there might be a lot of guys that do it and that there are a bunch of guys in her class, but she never gave up and she was always willing to put in the work. Overall, these two films convey the feminist film theory in two different perspectives.